Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about all of the changes to all of the different classes and what, basically what you should go for, because now we can go for a specific skill, a specific class, which is good, but they made getting the highest rank of a specific class as difficult as it used to be to get 3 classes combined. Now they have made a lot of more easy ways to get points. They've added more stuff into the game. It's easier to get points than it was back then, but still it is, unless you spent all of your money on portals, which a lot of us did, and so we're all super poor and don't have stuff for points, but they did add more ways to get points. So here we go. So the Berserk, they buffed a little bit. They gave them the standard for all the damage dealers is plus 25% damage and plus 15 to 20 health. So he got the 25% and the 20 health, which is good. It's not bad, but and he does get a little bit extra damage. He's going to be able to do 35% instead of the 30, but again, he's going to have even more armor taken away from him, and so that's pretty significant. That's a lot of armor getting reduced for him. And I personally think that the Berserk is just not going to make much of an appearance with this update. He was already weak. Berserk 4 is not going to change a whole lot. If you're a Berserk 3 and you're really excited about Berserk 4, you can go for it, but I really think they need to change the ranged weapon inflicts 25 or 30% less damage to you if they're going to expect to see it ever show up in PvP, but even PvE is starting to show up less and less. The Ice Mage is my biggest disappointment. I mean, this was the time for them to buff it. The Ice Path is not bigger. It got a standard 20% extra damage with a more health, good health, plus 90 hit points is great, but it's just not there. The Ice Path does increase an extra half a second, and then this decreases their movement speed by 5% more, but really it's just sad. I don't know why they didn't buff the Ice Mage. The Ice Mage is the weakest. Maybe I need to know more people, but everyone I know agrees that the Ice Mage is the weakest, so I'm sad they didn't buff it. If you're an Ice Mage 3 and you were hoping that this was going to be your moment, sorry, it's not happening yet. You could go to Ice Mage 4 and hope that they expanded the size of the ice wall, but I don't think they're going to. The Pathfinder got the standard 25% increase at 15 hit points, which the Pathfinder was already a great class. They did not increase the percentage at which your mark makes your whole team do more damage, so which makes sense. It was going to get pretty OP there if you were going to be able to get up there, but they did make it do a little bit of initial damage, but that's not really nothing, and the fire arrow was never really that good anyway. So the Pathfinder kind of gets a nerf. I mean, it's getting basically a standard buff, and that's, same thing with the healer. The healer was already super powerful. Lots of people use the healer, and it's doing great. It got the standard increase in damage, which, because it was already so low at 40, going up to 60, it's a little bit bigger than like if you're 60 going to 80, but it's still not that great. Getting those extra hit points is good, making you tankier. It also heals an extra 60 hit points, so that's probably the biggest deal, being able to have that extra 35 hit points but then also heal another 60 for your whole team. So the healer definitely is just going to stay right where it's at. We're going to see lots of healers in team play. That probably just won't change much at all, and the Pathfinder will probably still be a very common class. It just may be a little bit less because some of these other classes that got more buffed, which is fine. That's great. That's probably a good change. The Rogue got a 25%, the standard 25% increase in damage, 35 hit points, which is good. Makes the Rogue a little bit tankier. Obviously, you got to keep in mind that new dagger is pretty amazing. So if you can get a sneak attack on a player, it's it's going to be game over for the Rogue. But really, the Rogue's more of a PvE player. You're going to stick to the fire dagger, but they did increase the amount of damage that the Loki strike does, and they increased the ghost horse distance that you can travel. So the Rogue is going to get a nice buff. We already see the Rogue a ton in PvE. I don't think we're going to see him in PvP, but with this new dagger, it might be one of those things where some people are like, man, this dagger's so OP. I just want to always be able to, stick with someone. And so that horse is going to just let me have that gap closer. I don't think so. I think people are going to stick with actually the Bandit, but we'll see. So let's see. We got the Sharpshooter, got the standard 25% increase in damage. You got quite a bit of hit points, much more than the Pathfinder. Not sure how much that's going to affect it. I think it is going to make the Sharpshooter a little bit more, have a play. It did get 35 hit points, which is quite a bit more than the Pathfinder, and it makes me think that the Sharpshooter is going to be back. I mean, the Sharpshooter used to be in the top, and it's still towards the top. I think it's coming back to the top because of that new bow that lets you stun people. I do think the Hunter might still be better. A lot of people have been moving over to the Hunter, but having that extra hit points, having a slow that does even more slow now. Having even more damage is not that big of a deal. The 3-second stun did not go up, which is really good. I'm glad they did not increase the stun on the Loki Strike. The Sharpshooter, it's hard to know. They got the damage and they got the hit points, so it's definitely closing the gap with the Pathfinder in team play, and in solo play, it's always done better. Personally, I don't think they should have buffed it that much, but we'll see how it plays out. The one I'm most disappointed in is the Fire Mage. We see so many Fire Mages. Fire Mages are everywhere, right? And they increased its damage by 35%. So you can get now 100% plus stack, so 125% extra damage. Now they didn't add a new combat staff, so maybe with the new legendary weapons, the Fire Mage won't, just dominate everything, but it really looks like just the classes themselves, not including weapons, that they basically buffed the best class in the game even more. Now, the Fire Mage is going to have a lot less hit points. Like, you only got those 5 hit points. And so if the Fire Mage doesn't have Dragon Armor, a level 4 Assassin might essentially almost one-shot a level 4 Fire Mage. So there may be some balances if they're not planning on, if the Wrath Staff is supposed to be the best weapon for the Mage, then there may be some balance there. But it looked weird to see it get buffed so much when it was already one of the strongest classes in the game, both in PvE and in PvP. The Fire Mage has always dominated. The Bandit, I think, is going to have one of the most amazing things out of everyone. I think the Bandit is going to really have its play again once you get it to Bandit 4, because the dagger damage is doubled, okay? Now, they did have to nerf how much damage you do to immobilized enemies. So when you immobilize them with Ebola, or if you use your skill, now you're going to do 30% instead of 40%. But when you're getting a plus 30% damage overall, and you get this shiny new legendary dagger that's going to rip people's health, their armor down, which you have to factor in that some types of damage increases are multiplicative, whereas others are not. Like, if you're getting this plus 30% damage dagger and you're getting the plus 30% damage to immobilized enemies, some of these stats I actually don't remember which one on this one. Some of them are like you get the plus 30% and then you bring in another 30% over it, and I don't think that's true on this one. I think basically the Bandit 4 is going to do plus 90% dagger damage to someone who's immobilized. Okay, you're going to just add them. Whereas if you take the Pathfinder skill that makes everyone do 20% more damage to them, that is multiplicative. So now you got plus 90%, so you got 190% of your original damage, and you add 20% of that. So it's almost 40% of the original is now added because it's multiplicative. So you've got to factor that in mind. Reducing someone's armor is definitely one of those multiplicative ones. Okay, you're going to do that 190% damage, but then you reduce their armor to where, let's say, they're not reducing it by 20%, like they're reducing it by 20% less. Now you're doing way more damage than if you had just added another 20% bonus onto what the damage you were doing. So this is a really good thing, and then you still got the really powerful stun, which actually goes up to 3.5 seconds AoE stun for the Bandit. So I think the Bandit is going to finally make its way back into PvP in level 4, and I'm pretty excited about that because it's been a while. It used to be when the Global first came out, the Bandit was so OP, but I think that's because we really didn't know how to play the game yet, and so we asked them and they nerfed it really hard, too hard, and then now they brought it back and it's still not, I mean, it's good, it's better, but it's still not there. So the Protector got honestly, I feel like the Protector got a lame end of the deal, but the Protector's been strong. I mean, we use tons of Protector, lots of people use a Protector. I think that they should make it to where the Protector 4 and 3, the shield blocks 3 times as effectively, whereas the Protector 1 and 2, the shield blocks 2 times as effective or something like that. You know, basically they make it to where it's not as OP, or they divide it by 0.75. So, you know, the Protector 2 has a 2 point or whatever, but it doesn't really matter because the point is moving up to the Protector 4 is not going to have that much of an advantage. Now it is going to have a 4-second taunt, which is going to be really powerful. A taunt is one of the most powerful skills in the game. So that is going to, you know, that extra half a second makes a difference, especially if you're using the Archmage to taunt like 2 or 3 people. But overall, I would say it's not going to be, the Protector is going to be, on the grand scheme of things, less powerful in relation to the other level 4 classes, due to its nature. But the Protector 1 has been the most powerful level 1 class in the game for a very long time. So, and then the charge, you know, doesn't really change hardly at all. So, the Hunter, I think the reason why the Hunter is going to really shine is because having a stun bow with that extra movement speed is going to be amazing. Being able to go in, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run until they stun, and then you go at them for a while and then shoot, run, shoot, run. Or you're chasing someone and you're shooting and you don't get to shoot. Like you're chasing them, you can close the distance a little bit, but then you stun them every once in a while. It's just going to really mess them, especially if they're like trying to throw a bola and you just shoot an arrow and you stun someone. I mean, that's ridiculous. You're doing damage and you're stunning them. I think the bow is going to break the game, but I've said that a few things I think are going to break the game. So maybe it'll all balance out. It gets 30 hit points, which is not as much as the Sharpshooter, and it gets 20% extra damage, which is kind of the run-of-the-mill thing. So yeah, we'll see. I think the Sharpshooter might come back. I mean, the Sharpshooter never really disappeared, but I don't know. We'll see. The Hunter is going to be pretty powerful, that new bow. So we'll see what happens there. Also, with that new bow, it does 71 DPS. That does not factor in. Like a Dispel can't fix it. So like a Dispel can't counter it. So that new bow is definitely going to make things really interesting. The Sorcerer 3 is off the charts. I've already told you guys that the Sorcerer, we need to try it. Like, not a lot of people are trying being the Sorcerer, but once they buffed it to where for allies, you know, when you're doing it in PvP, you're getting 40% extra damage, and then the curse does 40%. I ran the numbers and I was like, guys, we need to try this. This might be better than the healer. Well, now I'm 100% sure that the numbers, I'm not saying it's going to functionally work this way because the healer is truly amazing, but being able to increase your team by 50% extra damage and decrease the other enemy damage dealer by 50% and make them have to run somewhere else to be able to do their full amount of damage. They're going to do half damage. That, and coupled with an Archmage, is, I mean, it's just a game changer. It's a game over to the point where you conceivably don't even need a healer. But maybe you could have a Sorcerer and a healer, you know? Like, it's just really insane to think about 50% extra damage. So if you are a Sorcerer 3, I think this is your time to go Sorcerer 4 and show the world that you're the best support class out there for a team. The Thrasher kind of got the run-of-the-mill, plus 25% extra damage, plus 35 hit points. Everything else kind of somewhat stay the same. The Leap does have a lower cooldown at level 4, and then the Stun Barrier does get that extra half a second, which is amazing because it doesn't go away. So it makes you kind of invulnerable for that whole time. It's very powerful. And then we got the Shaman 3, who gets 20% extra damage, 30 extra hit points. This thing goes an extra 2 seconds, which, you know, is okay. The big one is that the sphere now goes to 7 seconds. So you really, I mean, you've always taken someone out of the fight when you use that fear, but now they're literally gonna go all the way across the map. It's gonna be amazing. So the Shaman, I think, really is a pretty good, you know, solo PvP or duo PvPer. I think it's gonna be even more so. I mean, it has more health, more damage. It's gonna be a pretty good run there. So the Assassin gets quite a bit of bonus. It gets the plus 25% extra dagger damage, and it gets the 20 hit points. So kind of the run of the mill for a melee character. And but the bigger thing here is you also have to factor in, got this new dagger, right? And he's can, you know, leap at people. But where they really buffed the Assassin 4 and made him really, really powerful is we've got the shadow step damage does an increase of 10% damage on top of, so I was talking about multiplicative stats, on top of the extra, damage of a sneak attack. So if you got a fire dagger and you shadow step someone, you're getting that 5 times damage. Well, now you're getting 5 times damage plus 10%. So that's 5.5 times damage. So that's pretty significant, right? Because we're talking about doing with these numbers, some of these people are going to be in full purple and you're going to do your shadow step and do maybe even 200 damage. I'm not 100% sure on the stats, but it's going to add up to quite a bit. And then with this new dagger, being able to do that damage, obviously the shadow step bonus is going to be more for someone with a fire dagger. But it helps both. And then the smoke screen, now your smoke screen not only lasts longer, but if someone tries to fight you in your smoke screen, and it's bigger. If someone tries to fight you in your smoke screen, you take 20% less damage in that fight. So the assassin, what I like about this, so some people are going to say, man, I don't know, the assassin was already pretty powerful, but a lot of the people that are powerful assassins are the talented players that are good at the assassins. Like I just did a free-to-play solo the other day and I hadn't PvP'd in a while, and I threw my hammer. I did the textbook assassin thing, and I went over and I snuck behind him and I attacked, but I clicked attack a half a second too early, a millisecond too early, and I didn't register as a sneak attack. So then when I did my shadow step, it was like, well, that was your first sneak attack. And so he beat me, and such a bummer. Well, there's a lot of people out there that don't even know that they need to sneak, like they don't even know that tactic of throwing the hammer and sneaking. So now you're going to see a lot more people out there that aren't that skilled at the assassin, but they're still doing really well with it. The people that are skilled at the assassin, those people might kind of break the game, but I think we'll see what happens. Okay, the Druid is special mainly just because it can have up to 460 hit points with dragon armor and full level. Basically the DPS is the same for the Druid, which surprises me that the DPS would be the same, but they do take more additional damage over time in the Druid 4. So that really surprises me that they didn't increase its damage, because they've increased the damage of everyone else, but I guess it is a really tanky character. And then the Crow Flock, you've got basically everything's kind of the same, except now it's got 40% damage resistance and increased movement speed by 25%, or that's the normal. 25% is normal, but you got that extra 10% extra damage resistance while you're in the crow form, or your people are in the crow form, and then the crows receive 80% less damage. That's the same as it used to be. And then lastly, in bear form, you now have way more armor. You have 40% more equipped armor. So it's not just 460 hit points. If you've got really good armor on and you throw that in there, and you get that extra plus 40%, you're talking about really high damage reduction. The Druid is going to be a very strong tank. I haven't seen a lot of Druids in PvP, but I also haven't done a ton of team PvP. I think the Druid is still a viable option, especially because it gives that extra team dispel by when he first switches to Crow Flock. He can, it's a very good counter against the Archmage. Speaking of the Archmage, Archmage was already a level 4 class, and now when you go into a level 5 class, you get the extra 20% damage, an extra 25 hit points. And that's, the Archmage isn't a damage dealer. The Archmage is not very good solo PvP. So these numbers aren't going to really, they're not even as good as the level 3 to level 4 average. And then they didn't increase how long the Loki Shroud is, which is good, because I don't know if y'all remember when it was super OP at 60 seconds. And then they did reduce its cooldown so we can use it more often, that's cool. They didn't make any changes here, and then here they added an extra second to polymorph. Nothing really that breaks the game. I'd say the Archmage is going to be a little bit weaker. Still going to be used a ton because it's a great team player type class, but it's not like they broke anything. And then you got the Witch Doctor. Oh, what? I thought I finished the Witch Doctor. I did finish the Witch Doctor. I had the Witch Doctor unlocked. I mean, y'all saw videos of me having the Witch Doctor unlocked. Okay, well, you know, I gotta go spend time with my family, but in a future video, I'll figure out what's going on here, and I will see what the differences are between the Witch Doctor 3 and the Witch Doctor 4. But you can see here by the Witch Doctor 3, which if you guys are still in Season 2, go, please go and finish Season 2. It's really easy. Just do the quest. It's all you have to do, and you can get the Witch Doctor unlocked, and then you don't have to pay these 10,000 mastery points. Avoid the 10,000 mastery points and all of these quests that you have to do. Like kill the boss in the tomb. That's not that big of a deal. Kill 30 enemies in portal prisons. You don't want to have to go back to the prisons, right? I mean, go just do the quest, get it done, get the Witch Doctor, and that way you can have it learned. And then maybe by the time you watch the video where I go up to level 4, you'll already know because you will hopefully have Witch Doctor. But I'm going to go do that. But that is it. Those are the different classes. And so overall, I would say, I don't know. Really, we're going to have to see how it plays out with in PvP. I have been realizing lately in the last month or so that this game is not the PvP game that I thought it was going to be. It is a go get resources, co-op survival. You can, you know, but the pay to win aspects of the classes are, you know, basically it's a luxury. It doesn't seem like the devs care about free-to-play classes. I think they worked with us as we as a community were like, please make it all even and make it all fair. And I think the devs are now focusing and they haven't said anything about this, but just based on the way they're making changes, I think they're thinking, no, this game is not really, we're never going to go to the arena. We're never going to go to whatever these other things are that you're wanting. We're a place where you go get resources and you can fight each other in the zones over those resources, or you can work as a team to get those resources. But this is a co-op survival game, and I don't know if they're ever going to even add an arena, which, man, that makes me really sad. But it is what it is. I hope that whether it's Frostborn or another game that Andre's cooking up, that they finally add like really good arena stuff, and that they add like dynamic, you know, stuff like Mad Dog's arena in Jurassic Survival was amazing, but it was just bots, so it kind of sucked. Doing stuff like that in Frostborn would be amazing, but I think that they don't want to do it because I think that it would ruin the feel of the game they're going for, which is co-op survival, getting resources. So I think that these, you know, classes might be more balanced than we thought we were. Hopefully, honestly, we're just not going to know until we play it out. And the truth is, there's so much grind to get 20,000 extra points that the chances of seeing one team with all level 4, they're just going to probably be super pay to win. Might not be true. Maybe. I mean, the devs are making it easier to get points. Maybe we'll see. But unless they're going to add an arena, then who cares if it's fair? Like, you know, there's so many ways to get other advantages for people in the zone with element of surprise and stuff like that. Though people could use this and abuse it in raiding. But maybe they did say they worked on their matchmaking system in the dev notes. So hopefully they did. Hopefully matchmaking is way better in this update. All right, guys. I'll see you next time.